This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Free National Movement rocked by controversy once again as a veteran politician makes a major announcement along with some scathing allegations. Joan Davis Roll has our top story.
Sunday during a press conference held at the home of F&M Member of Parliament for Central Grand Bahama, Nico Grant.
On April 17, 2012, after I nominated in an interview with ZNS Northern Service TV in the presence of my wife, who is here today, my grandson Danny, my dear sister Violet Wright, I informed the reporter that it was my last election. When Dr. Hubert Minnis assumed the leadership of the F&M in May 2012, I informed him of my intention. I now wish to confirm, or reconfirm, that I will not seek re-election in the upcoming general election.
This coming amidst what many describe as constant infighting following the fallout which occurred during the F&M convention on July 26th, when the party became divided regarding those vying for the leadership, Dr. Hubert Minnis and Loretta Butler Turner. Grant, who did not support Dr. Minnis, says now he has become a victim of a smear campaign by members of his very own party.
I have been villainized by some, demonized by others, but it didn't bother me because I knew that I did the best that I could. I also supported the leader, and I have documents. I trust I will not have to produce them to prove where I have done that. But to be dragged in the mud by a senior member of this party is unacceptable.
That's not all. Grant contends that his service to party and country is also being called into question by an F&M general, one who he says cannot boast of a successful political career like the late PLP leader, Sir Lyndon Pillay.
For him to suggest that I have done nothing and I do nothing, and that because I differ from the views of the leader that I'm committing treason, well, he has destroyed his legacy. What did he do when he and 7 others voted against Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland in Parliament? Was Sir Lyndon not elected in convention? He was elected in convention, and he was elected by the Bahamian people. Because even after the 8 of them voted against him, he still enjoyed the support of the majority of the members of Parliament. That is something Mr. Minnis, or Dr. Minnis, has never had.
The veteran politician was asked, will he be leaving the F&M? To which he had this reply.
I am an F&M. I was steamed roll in 1974 for being an F&M. When I put my family, my life and limbs on the line in 1992, I don't know where many of those who purport to be these great F&Ms are. I have no idea where they were. And so I will remain an F&M.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
Well, the state of the Free National Movement will no doubt be a key issue as the country prepares to head into a general election. Well, ZNS News spoke recently with the Minister of Tourism and Member of Parliament for West End and Bimini, the Honorable Obi Wolshcombe, about the official opposition and its leadership woes.
The F&M has a history of a party that has had a number of splits. Remember in the 70s and the 80s, the FNDM, the FNM, the SDP, the BDP, all were FNMs because they could not be together. When they had a strong PLP former chairman, meaning Hubert Ingram, and member of Parliament and minister who took over their party, they had some stability, so they had to use the PLP to bring some stability to their organization. That aside, which is just a bit of fun, the truth is they have issues, but we can't worry about them. We have to worry about ourselves. We have to go back to the Bahamian people, account for the work we've done, and not take anything for granted.
In other news, the wheels of economic growth and development appears to be turning on the island of Grand Bahama as a local company expands. A leader in the safety and security sector, Candid Security Limited, hosting the grand opening of their new building on Friday evening. Italia Hall was there.
Still I press on. Government officials, family, friends, and members of the community turning out for Candid Security's grand opening of their new corporate office building that's located on Polaris Drive. The guest speaker for the memorable event was the Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville. He says this is a perfect example where hard work comes together with vision.
Though there's challenges on the island of Grand Bahama, we're beginning to see new growth and new opportunities as we revive the city. It is my understanding that the company started from humble beginnings. I like that because that is the hallmark of entrepreneurship. And starting with about 13 employees, and over the years worked all the way up to 200, and I'm sure the number will continue to grow.
Owner Cleveland Duncombe was once a part of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and retired soon after he opened Candid Security in 1997. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, Emric Seymour, says he still holds a good relationship with Duncombe to date.
The accomplishment of Mr. Duncombe post Royal Bahamas Police Force is proof positive that hard work, dedication, commitment, and stick-to-itiveness. Stick-to-itiveness. You wouldn't find that in the dictionary, but it's a word, and I'm sure you get the picture. Stick-to-itiveness are all necessary variables and attributes for a successful business venture.
Duncombe thanked those who helped to build the company over the years to what it is today, noting that this demonstrates the company's commitment to its clients and Grand Bahama.
All my family and friends, my sisters and brothers who came from near and far to help us cherish this occasion. To all, and my beautiful girls, Janae and Levine, you've held me up all those years. Half has never been told. Thank you all very much.
Then the moment everyone was waiting on, the ribbon cutting ceremony. Following the official ceremony, guests were taken on a tour of the new building. It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Well, just last week, our ZNS News team brought you a story about a troubling situation that affected some residents of an upscale community. With countries around the world on Zika alert, the concern was that if the situation went unaddressed, it could become a breeding ground for mosquitoes that could carry a number of diseases. Well, tonight we have good news. Italia Hall again reports.
It was a vexing situation for some residents of Bahamia, and now it appears that their appeal for help has been answered. Just last week in an interview with ZNS News, South Bahamia resident James Roll explained concerns about tons of tires dumped in that community on a vacant lot near his residence. Now, just 2 days after the story aired, Roll says there was a pleasant surprise.
I went to the location and I was pleasantly surprised that all of the tires are being removed. I want to express my gratitude and my thanks to the management service for Bahamia, who I believe acted in good faith. I want to also say that I'm very pleased that that threat that I spoke about earlier has been removed.
He laments that there are other places throughout Grand Bahama where indiscriminate dumping occurs.
Those persons who are unscrupulously acting that way ought to take note that when they do things like this, they're not just getting rid of waste, but they're threatening the health of other persons. And one of the things we need to realize is that healthy lifestyles begin with creating a healthy environment. And when actions like this happening, it just not threatens the persons in those communities, but the persons who are involved in these acts too, themselves put themselves at risk.
Roll says going forward, he, along with neighbors, are going to become more vigilant by acting as watchdogs in that area to ensure that this issue does not reoccur.
I am constantly driving around in my neighborhood, and anytime I see anything that's unnatural, I usually try to have it addressed.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this.